Hey y'all, my name is Holly Lamb and welcome to Lamb Living. Today I'm participating in the Thrift Flip Road Trip, hosted by Trish and Kay from the Crafting Cousins and Sammie from Unicorn Dust Designs. I come to you from sunny South Georgia. I live on St. Simon's Island and this is my favorite thrift store, Hello Goodbye, in Brunswick, Georgia. My husband and daughter and I like to go here, as well as my parents who are down here for the winter. This is one of our favorite stops on a Saturday. We're going to be flipping that little cloche right there, but I want to look at a few other things while we're here. I did pick up that heart for 75% off. Anything in this section is 75% off. Now, yellow stickies were half off on this day, so I got this cloche for $1. I was so excited about it. Look at that. Ooh, I love yellow sticky day. They switch it around. But now this I got at Dollar General. And I'm going to use the top to it. Don't ever throw the tops away to these candles, and also the jars. When the candle is finished, the jars and the tops are super useful. So I'm just going to take this, which was probably a light cover in its first life, and I'm going to make it into a cloche. Look how pretty this is. I just put it on my dining room table with my cute little owl from the Dollar Tree that I painted and distressed. With it just as glass for a long time, and now I'm going to take and make it a little fancier. We're going to zhuzh it up a little bit with some paint and transfers, and so I'm going to take and I'm going to be painting a lot of things in the Thrift Flipped Road Trip today, and which is what I like to do. And so I'm going to take my Plaster Waverly chalk paint. I like this color because it's just barely off-white. And I do a lot of decorating with off-white in my house. And so I want to glue it to the glass cloche there. So I did wipe off any paint that got on the bottom part. That's where the glue is going to go, because I just want it to be glass on glass. I don't want the paint to be in the middle of that glue. Now I got a little rushed. Oops. And I did not let my paint set up enough. And so I do have to go back and touch up. I was so excited to use this set of transfers. I have linked it below in my description box because I got these, I ordered them from Amazon, as well as another set that I'll be using later. And so I'm like, okay, just wait. And so the next day I come back and it was just fine. It touched up beautifully. I love chalk paint. It's just so forgiving and so easy to deal with. And so now I'm just going to put the little flower on. Lots of neutrals. I'm just keeping things nice and neutral this winter. But a little flower here and there. I do live in South Georgia. We still have blooming flowers. Looks beautiful on this top, this candle top. And now I'm going to use my favorite Fix-All adhesive from the Dollar Tree. I get that in the hardware and automotive aisle. And a little bit of that. I honestly should have put a little dab of hot glue on there, but it didn't move too much. I was able to. It was heavy enough to hold still. And I let it dry for a few hours, and look how easy was that. What a beautiful cloche. All right, now we move on to this barrel ring. I found this at the Goodwill bins one day, and it had some gook all the way across. It didn't have any kind of labels or anything to get off. But I used my Dawn dish soap and a little bit, or actually a lot of Goo Gone, and my Pampered Chef scraper, and a little bit of elbow grease, and then I just went to town. So I just had lots of soapy Dawn dish soap in that water, and I would just turn it and scrape it, put the Goo Gone on and turn it and scrape it and turn it and scrape it. And I also used a scrub pad, there it is, from the Dollar General. You get 2 in a package for $1, and those are super helpful. I keep those under my sink. All right, now I'm going to be painting quite a few things here that are black already. I'm going to be painting white with this linen white by Rust-Oleum. I love this stuff. I've had this little quart jar of paint for a long time, and it just goes on and on forever. And so I'm going to paint this 3 coats. My secret formula. It's not a secret, but I always chalk paint 3 coats, and then I distress back. I like a good thick coat of paint, then I wet distress and sand. And sometimes it doesn't need a little bit of sanding, but the wet distress will get it done because chalk paint will wet distress really well. But so I'm going to put 3 coats on this. Then here I go with just a wet cloth and a little bit of my nail files, which I also get from Amazon, and I'll link that below in the description box as well. I'm not sponsored. I don't have an Amazon store or anything. I just want you to be able to get them easily, and so you can click on those links. But I use these a lot. I like this. It's a kind of a coarse grit nail file, and look at there. I'm going for kind of a enamelware look with this, so I'm going to use the gloss Mod Podge and get that little bit of a glossy sheen as my top coat. And then it's going to be a wreath. I'm going to put it over my mantle. I was thinking about hanging it on the front door, but I decided to go with something different for my front door and decided to change up the mantle a little bit now that I've taken the nativity scene down. I wanted something a little bit different for winter, so we're just going to go with these pampas grass picks that I get from Walmart. They're $2 for the 2 little pampas grass stems, and then I trimmed it off, and then I've basically got another stem of just grasses that I'm going to use to lay on the mantle to hide the cords for my mantle lights. And I'm just using this because of that gloss Mod Podge. The hot glue did not want to stick, and this is very temporary. I'll be able to change this out if I'd like to something springy or summery when I want to change the pampas grass and use that in a different way, because it's just kind of wound on here with this little yarn from the Dollar Tree and then some hot glue, which will pop right off. And so I have that kind of wound on there and bent, and oh, I just love how this turned out. Now I made 2 little tassels to go with, to just have something to go on. I didn't want to do a bow. I wanted something a little different. I wanted my little wreath here to be very different. So I love my enamelware look with these pampas grass picks and my little, you see the grass there, I laid on top of the mantle to hide the cords for my lights. All right, now I like to use these, and I love to find these embroidery hoops at thrift stores. Look at that, $1 for these embroidery hoops. And I didn't have a picture of this one in particular, but I wanted to put something on my laundry room door to go kind of with my new look in my living room. My laundry room is off of my living room. And so I got this yard of fabric at Hobby Lobby back in the fall, and they had it marked down to $3 a yard, and so I've been saving it. I didn't want to put it up during fall because I was all about fall colors, and of course Christmas, I go Christmas crazy. So I've been saving it, and so now just seemed the perfect time to bring out all the blues in my living room. My living room couch has blue, and we have a chair with blue on it. And so this seemed to be the perfect door hanging for my laundry room. And I made 2 tassels for it as well, made those a little bit longer. And there we go. What a perfect little door hanging for this little dark corner of the living room going into the laundry room. I just love that, laundry room and garage. That's just the perfect little accompaniment to my wreath on the mantle. You can see my blue couch and my blue chair, and it just looks perfect right there on the door. I love it. All right, let's go on to the next flip. I guess this is number 4. And you saw a little glimpse of it there on the mantle on the hearth. I am taking one of these $6 popcorn tins from Christmas, and we ate the popcorn out of it and enjoyed it during movie nights. And now I wanted to use it because it was dent free. It's hard to find those without dents in it, but it was dent free and just needed a little refresher. So again, 3 coats of the linen white Rust-Oleum chalk paint, And then I'm gonna make my own napkin. I got this idea from Deidre at Our Upcycled Life, and she has an Etsy shop, and I downloaded several prints from her Etsy shop, and I'm going to use them in the next 2 flips. This one I am going to print on my laser printer. I'm going to print out 2 different prints. One side is going to say welcome, and then I'm going to wait and let you see the second one. I thought I'd get a little sassy on the other side, and so I thought this one was fun. And so I'm just making my own napkin. So I'm taping this 1 ply of white napkin to just a regular piece of copy paper, and I'm just putting tape on all edges. Now, you don't necessarily have to do this. You just have to put it where it's going to feed through the printer. There's my printout I got from Our Upcycled Life, from her Etsy shop. She has all kinds of great graphics there. And there it is, be kind or be quiet. That is it's going to go on the other side. So I can either have a lovely filigree welcome, or be kind or be quiet on the other side. So basically, and I wanted to say I used a inkjet printer, and a lot of her, she suggests using inkjet. Now she has some great how-tos on using this decoupage method, and she uses an inkjet printer. Now she has suggestions on using, suggests to use a laser jet printer, but now she has lots of videos on using both. You just have to be a little more careful with the inkjet. All right, so with my decoupage napkin that I have made here, I'm just simply going to put that on with my gloss Mod Podge. Again, I'm going for that enamelware look. I have distressed this ever so slightly on the edges. I didn't want to do too much, but just a little bit, just to bring out a little bit of darkness. And then I'm just going to dab, dab, dab. I like to use my finger. I know a lot of people like to use other things like saran wrap or whatever, but I like to feel it. So I prefer to use my dry fingers, and I try to stay out of the glue. But before I start dabbing it with the glue on top, I like to use my fingers to make sure I get all those bubbles out. And if I have a couple of little bubbles in there, I'm not worried about it. It is decoupage. So I'm just going to go ahead and give the entire thing a coat of the gloss Mod Podge, because I want that enamelware look, which has a little bit of a shine to it. And so we're not going for the matte finish here. There's the welcome. I do go ahead and paint the inside, and there's the other side, be kind or be quiet. I didn't know if I would just be putting, blankets in this, or I could use it to put all kinds of different things. But I did put some eucalyptus, some kind of a tan taupe eucalyptus in there. And there's the other side. I do have it on the welcome side, by the way. Okay. But you never know when the feeling strikes to turn it around, just in case Kevin thinks he's a little too sassy. All right, so now we're going to move on. I found these 2 matching trays. I got it at the Goodwill bins, and actually I think I got it in the regular Goodwill, and they were $1 a piece. There we go. I am also going to paint that with the linen white chalk paint by Rust-Oleum, but I'm going to do 2 different sides. I wanted to see what they would look like, and one of these had kind of a dent, and it didn't show up on the other side. So one I'm going to paint the back, and one I'm going to paint the front. And I'm going to leave the other side silver, because I'm going to hang these in I have 2 doors that go out to the back deck, and one of them opens, and then one of them is just kind of a faux door. And we are getting ready to get new ones. So I have put hooks on them for Christmas, because I know I'm getting new doors anyway, but they haven't come in. They're supposed to be in sometime this month. So I've still got the hooks up. So I thought, you know what, let's make something to go on those hooks. And I also uploaded these from our Upcycled life. But she also sends it to you in reverse, which is great. I don't have to do the work. I can print it out on my LaserJet printer. And I'm going to do this one as well. There we go. There's my LaserJet. I only have a black and white LaserJet. And so these are perfect to do farmhouse prints. So I've printed them out in reverse, and I'm using matte Mod Podge for this. This is what Deidre suggests to use, matte Mod Podge, and I've had some really good luck with this. I really enjoy it. Now I have done some pictures from my inkjet printer and had a lot of good luck with this. You know, I like that kind of rustic chalky finish anyway, and so I just don't when I use the inkjet printer, I just don't rub all the way down to the ink, and just leave a little bit of a chalky finish. And once you put a little bit of Mod Podge or Liquitex or some type of matte clear spray, you really can't even tell it anymore. I really enjoy this particular reverse decoupage. So here we go. I painted on my glue, and then I'm pushing it, all that ink from the LaserJet down into the glue, and I don't want it to move. I can't move it now. And I put a little dab of tape on one side and folded it. Then I pushed it down into the glue, and now I'm going to do the other side. Fold all that ink down, or push down all that ink down into the glue. I leave it dry on top because we're going to be rubbing off that paper. So we don't want to put any glue on the paper on the top like regular decoupage. You leave that dry on top and let it sit overnight. And then you can come back the next day, or a week later even, and rub off that backing paper, and it will look fantastic. And as long as you've reversed your image, if it's writing or something that needs to be reversed, then you're going to have a great graphic. So I'm going to show you with this one the deck, the welcome to our deck sign, and I'm just going to rub. I went ahead and put the other one on. This one looks like I have put the graphic on what we would consider the top of the tray. And then the other one that I just glued on, it is on what we consider the back of the tray. So look at there, it looks so good. Now you can still see a little residue from the paper, but once I'd use this matte clear, spray from Rust-Oleum that I get at Walmart, you won't be able to tell where that paper was at all. It looks fantastic. And so here I go with my other one. Now you see it's technically on what we would consider the bottom or the back of the tray, and I love how this distressed. Look at that. I used just a baby wipe and a little bit of my nail file, and I just filed off just the edges, just a little bit of that detail on the edges and the raised part, and it looks so cute. I love using the back of these trays. So I don't know if I like the front or the back better. I like them both. That's a tough choice. Okay, so now this one I decided I would use my Liquitex. This is a matte medium, and I ordered this from Amazon as well. I'll try to put the link in the description box if I can find that one. And that bottle, again, I'd use very little at a time, so it's gone on and on. I've had that for over a year now, and it is great for this reverse decoupage method as well. I've used it before too. Okay, so now I'm going to use this, that is the lace ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use that as my hanger, and then also I'm going to go all the way around the edge to hide where that is, because again, this is going on my the doors to the deck. So you will be able to see from the deck side, you will be able to see the back. So I want it to look nice. And this one will hang on the kind of the faux door. So it's not going to bang open and closed when I let Toby out. But the other one will. So I wanted to make sure something was on the back. I use a yarn that I'm going to show you in just a second on that one. And then I bring it around, and I'm going to tie just a regular shoelace bow. And I'm going to use the rest of that lace ribbon. I'm going to kind of feed it up under there where I've glued the ribbon all the way around. And I'm just going to kind of tuck it up under where that knot was and tie one more shoelace bow so it has 4 loops, and just kind of let the tails hang down, and it looks so kind of shabby chic and pretty. Now I didn't like how it hung all the way down, so I am going to manipulate it a little bit with my hot glue, and we'll see that in just a minute. Now this is really why I wanted to use these. I got these magnets at the Dollar Tree. The succulents are on magnets already, and I wanted to try to use these on my tray for the decoration. Now I use magnets all the time at school on my whiteboard. That's how I put things up on the whiteboard for the most part. I have tons of magnets so I don't have to ball up tape and it doesn't leave tape residue on my whiteboard. So I thought, you know what, why wouldn't this work on a metal tray? And then I can change out the decoration. I don't have to, you know, be sold on just succulents or just the cotton pods, or just, you know, I can put a different ribbon on and just change out the magnets. So I liked these little succulent magnets, but you know, in my quest to white wax the world and make everything nice and soft and pretty, I did go ahead and white wax those succulents with my folk art white wax, which is kind of creamy anyway. Now I got these magnets at the Walmart, and they are, I certainly did not need to get these humongous magnets. They are strong. Nothing's coming off of these metal trays. So I think I could have gone with a smaller magnet. But anyway, I am covering them up. I'm going to use 2 of the cotton pods from the Dollar Tree. You see the little packaging over there. And then that yarn right there is what I put around the back for my hanger on the other tray. So there they are. And that's the one that's going to open and close as I let Toby in here in just a second. And you'll see it, you know, it doesn't move around at all. And look at the succulents on the magnets. Oh my goodness. And I tied little knots at the end, and there's Toby. He's waiting to come in. We'll have to let him in, and see, nothing's banging around. Come on in, buddy. That's away. I love those. All right, now the other one I decided to use, I had one more magnet, so I pulled out this that I had up in my stash, this kind of vase that had some natural dried flowers in it and eucalyptus. And so I decided I had one more magnet, so I thought, you know what, let's get that dried flowers out and we'll flip this little guy and get it out of my stash and use it. And so I took some of the leftover yarn from that yarn I used on the tray, and I'm covering up the magnet because it's going to show otherwise through this eucalyptus. And I decided not to use the other dried flowers. We'll use them for something else. And just did a little spray of eucalyptus, and I used just a few leaves here and there to hide this and that and make them stand up very nice. And there we go. So we have a bow on one and the eucalyptus on the other. I love it. Okay, now here we go. We are gonna take some leg warmers I got at Rose's for $3.99, I think that says, yes. Hearkening back to my teenage days in the 80s with my leg warmers. And when I saw that at my Rose's Express in Brunswick, I thought, oh yes, I'm gonna have to use those this winter for something. And I'm going to use one of them, and I decide not to cover it all up. I want to see some of the glass. Yes, there we go. I just put some pine cones down in there and some cotton picks from the Dollar Tree, and that is perfect for winter. All right, we're back at Hello Goodbye, looking for some more treasures. Look at that boomerang. Oh my goodness, well, I left the boomerang, but I did eye this little cutie for $3. And I thought, you know what? Painted black, that is gonna look really nice. And of course, I'm always drawn to the angels. I did bring home those frosted angels. They're candle holders for tapered candles. I did bring those home. And then look at that glass one. That I could put my other leg warmer on. I didn't get that one. Okay, so this guy I brought home and I cleaned it up. It had some cobwebs on it. And then I took it outside and I sprayed it. I used flat 2X Rust-Oleum spray paint. And honestly, it could have been semi-gloss or gloss. It didn't really matter because I'm going to paint it with my plaster chalk paint anyway. But I wanted, again, I'm trying to go for that, you know, kind of enamel look. Of course, we know this is not going to be enamel, but I want it to all kind of match my living room. And my this is going on the table beside those doors there in my kitchen dinette. And so there we go. It already looks better as black. I would have been very happy just to leave it black, but I decided to put it inside a, it was a tarnished silver tray that I painted and distressed, and I used my Advent wreath. I had it in there. And so when I took my Advent wreath and put it away for Christmas, and I cleaned off the wax, any wax from the candles that went on it, and I decided I'd put this inside instead of the Advent wreath. So it was already plaster chalk paint, so I wanted it to kind of match. So now I'm bringing the black back out, showing some of the distressing with my baby wipe and my nail file, which I love to do. And so everything's going to match and be cohesive in my dining area in my kitchen. I love how that looks. Look at all those little swirls. Now I'll go ahead and white wax. I'm on the very last of this bottle of white wax. My goodness, it's like an old friend. I hated to throw it out, but I just didn't need it anymore. I got everything I could out of that bottle of folk art white wax. And there we go. We've dab it on, wipe it off. Dab it on, wipe it off. Again, my quest to make everything soft and frosted looking with white wax. So there we go. I just put some shells and some succulents inside, little starfish, and then an LED candle on a timer. I love my timer candles. It's perfect. And my little tray there. Okay, now the next couple of flips I'm going to go through super fast, just still on this plaster chalk paint. And I found this at the Goodwill for $1.99. And I'm going to, it's already black, it's already iron, it's ready to go. And it's a perfect little wreath hook. I thought, oh, that is so cute. And I had all kinds of choices of wreaths I could put on there, but I just go ahead and do a simple heart grapevine wreath, but you'll see that in just a second. I found this tarnished silver tray in the bins, and it has just a lovely little twist on the edge that we're going to bring out with our wet distressing. And I think I use my, yes, I use my nail file, which I do very often, a wet distress and a little filing, just to bring out the detail. Now I'm going to put a transfer in the middle of this one from the cutest transfer set I've bought in a while from Amazon. Oh man, talk about smile in a box. Okay, I do clear wax these. I didn't see the need to put white wax on that, and I was out of white wax, honestly. I'm going to have to get some more. And so I do clear wax this, and I have to let it set up. And then I'm going to put my transfers on. The canisters I got here at Hello Goodbye, remember when there's a slash, that's 75% off. So that one was 75 cents, and this little cutie was only 50. I looked and looked and looked, and they were discolored, but they were not chipped at all. They were in perfectly good condition. So the plaster chalk paint to the rescue. On the bottom, it does say made in Italy, so they're very well made canisters. So I'm going to paint the outsides and the lids, not the inside, in case I want to put some candy or something in there, who knows. And then I am going to rub off anything on the outside with my, any brush marks with my baby wipe. And then look at the sweet lambs. Oh! 3 little pages of cuteness. Oh my goodness. And so for my canisters, I'm going to put this darling little label, and then I was trying to decide what to put. Oh, look at those little lambs. Goodness. And then I'm going to, oh, so cute. So much. I have to find some more things to put that all these transfers on. Transfers are so easy to use. If you've never used a transfer, just place it. Make sure it's where you want before you place it down, because it's not, it's gonna stick. And so just make sure you have it where you want it, and then just rub. And they put a stick in there, but you could use, again, I could use my Pampered Chef scraper, you could use a credit card, whatever, a gift card. And then I like to burnish with the plastic backing, and then use my nail file to just scuff it up a little bit. It makes it look a little more cohesive, a little more one with the piece, and that's how I prefer to do my transfers, with just a little bit of scuffing. And look at that black sheep. Oh, he's not a black sheep. He's gorgeous. I decided to use this one with the little green leaves to go along with my Christmas tree book stack. I turned around and flipped with another transfer set I got on Amazon, which is also linked below. And I thought it would match that tree. You can see that in the reveal here in just a second. There it is. You see the tree. I just turned it around. And on one side is a beautiful Christmas tree, and on this side I put some beautiful branches. But look at the detail on that roping, on that tarnished silver piece, and that beautiful transfer. And there's our wreath hook. I just put that grapevine wreath on there. Oh, so pretty. Goodness, and there's my little tree. I want to thank Trish and Kay again from the Crafting Cousins, and Sammie from Unicorn Dust Designs for having me in this thrift road trip. So from the Blue House on the corner in sunny South Georgia, thankful and blessed. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.